It was a night that was stolen by Jayden Daniels, who upstaged his fellow LSU comrade Joe Burrow. He threw not one, but 2 touchdowns. We had a fat guy touchdown. Fat guy touchdown. First Jayden Daniels touchdown to a fat guy, one of his offensive linemen. Hey, if he actually turns out to be as good as people think he's going to be, it's one of those great who am I game questions. Who caught the first touchdown for Jayden Daniels? But he also ran for a score and did a little bit of this, a little bit of that, the whole thing. A historical performance for Jayden Daniels, the Washington football team, leaving the Bengals stunned, dazed, confused, 38-33 the final. Jayden Daniels, 21 of 33. If you like stat humping, that's really good. 254 yards, an NFL rookie record for a completion percentage at over 90%, 91.3 on the FM dial. 91.3. So the Commanders at 2-1. They scored on every possession except when they kneeled down. You can't score when you kneel down at the end of each half. And they have not punted now in the past 2 games. And they have not turned the ball over in the past 2 games. Now, I didn't play in the NFL, but I think that's a recipe for success. But what do I know? Now, neither Washington or Cincinnati, either one of these teams, punted or turned the ball over collectively. We're told by the nerds it's the first time that's ever happened in the Super Bowl era, the modern era of the NFL. But the better story is in the losing locker room. So let us discuss the question. All right, are you prepared to write the eulogy for Joe Burrow's 2024 Bengals? They sit 0-3 historically. The odds are against them based on what has happened, not what's going to happen. So I've got Dandy Don, Monster Mash, and Frosted Flakes. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to slide on in deeper into your eardrums is what we're going to do. So, to answer the question, are you prepared to write the eulogy for Joe Burrow's 2024 Bengals? I am nodding my head yes. I am nodding my head yes. Yes. And I don't want to do it. I like Burrow. You know that. I'm a Burrow sycophant and all that, but I am a realist here. I hope I'm wrong. However, the mantra on this show, one of the many mantras that we have here late at night, is the never-ending battle. I stole this from a cartoon character. The never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the sports talk radio way. That's exactly what Superman taught me when I was a kid. And we can all agree, every man, woman, and child can agree that you are not allowed more than one really stink bomb loss. Can we agree on that? Like every team's going to lose a game. You're like, oh, crap, why'd they lose that game? You know, oh, that's embarrassing. You get one of those. What the Bengals have done in the first month of the season is impossible. It was unimaginable. If I told you this before the season, it's unthinkable that it's happened. They have picked up the double whammy. They have the double whammy. They lost at home to Jacoby Brissett and the Patsies. They lost to the Patriots in week 1. And so, you'll forgive them, but they can't have another bad loss. And here we are. Ta-da! They have lost to the Commanders. Now, you might think Washington's going to have a good team, and they're off to a good start. 2 wins. They beat the Giants, which is hardly an impressive win. But all of that for Cincinnati coming in the first month of the season. You don't come back from that. That's good evening and good night is what that is. Forget even good afternoon. The ghost of Dandy Don is warming up somewhere, right? Turn out the lights, the party's over. Cincinnati is porked. They're cooked. However you want to say it, whatever you want to use to describe it. At this moment in time, the Bengals are Dunskies. They're back to being the Bungles. And do we still love Joe Burrow? Sure. Does that matter? No, it doesn't matter. I don't see a scenario at this moment, based on the way they're playing right now today, that is a playoff team. Oh, that's an outrageous take. No, it's not. All right, now, page 2 here. Why? The question of why. Why are the Bengals in the ditch along the side of the NFL road at this point after 3 weeks? And my theory on this, and I cooked this up on the long drive from the North Woods here to the mothership, and I want to thank management for making sure that I have that long drive from the mothership here into the mothership. But Cincinnati, their problem, now they got a lot of problems, but the big one is the monster mash, we're going to call it. The green-eyed monster. That's the problem. They're under attack, under siege by the green-eyed monster because they made a strategic decision. This is one of those deals. I was talking to Sager in the hallways here. Saw him passing like ships in the night. That you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Because some of these teams have paid their players like the Cowboys. Dak Prescott blows, right? We know that. Not a big game guy now. Just looked terrible the last couple of weeks. Fine. Got some garbage time stats, so people that don't watch the games think he's better than he is. But Cincinnati went the other way. They're like, we're not paying anybody. And so T. Higgins, he's playing, but he didn't get the extension. Jamar Chase, playing, didn't get massive extension. Pretty much everyone got paid. Everyone around the NFL got paid. Even turds like Trevor Lawrence got paid, right? He sucks. He got paid for some reason. He must have compromising photos of Rashad Khan, the owner. I don't know. But the Bengals said, no, we're going to draw a line in the mud is what we're going to do. We're not paying anybody. So you started out with Higgins and Chase, bitter, that bitter beer face on offense, but you mix in a defensive star, Trey Hendrickson, who also requested a trade out of Dodge. He wanted to get out of Dodge, and he's on the defensive side, and everything starts bubbling up. Resentment, bad vibrations, all of that. And so you have a quagmire now for Cincinnati. Nobody is going to confuse, not a single person is going to confuse Zach Taylor as the second coming of Vince Lombardi. So he's the head coach, and he's always got this kind of, I don't know what's going on here. He's got that kind of look. But then you look at the defensive coordinator, and you've got Lou and a Rumumo. What's his name? Ramumo? That's not his name. What's his name, Coop? You got his name? Coop has no idea. The defensive coordinator for the Bengals. Coop is looking it up right now. Martin has it. What's his name, Martin?
Lou Anarumo.
Anarumo. That's a weird name. The reason I don't know his name, Martin.
I never even heard that name.
I know. I would fire his. If I owned the Bengals, I would fire him. Is what I would do after that performance. But I don't think he's in X's and O's with it. One thing about the broadcasters, though, I've noticed they're all friends with the coaches, so they don't criticize anybody. Every time I watch an NFL game, it's like. Doesn't matter. There could be a toxic cloud billowing of smoke up from the coach's room, and they're like, everything's great. These guys are wonderful. They're just great and all that stuff. But we have now, I did the math, we have 43 shopping days left till the trade deadline. It's on November 5th is the trade deadline. And Cincinnati's in business here. They keep going like this, and they don't want to pay anybody. Why wouldn't they trade one of these cats that are available, right? Jamar Chase, who knows? I don't even know if they can trade T. Higgins because of the salary cap stuff, and he's on the franchise tag. But there are players available. If you want, they're in the display case there in Cincinnati. All right, last word here. So we go to the winning locker room. Not the better story, but we go to the winning locker room. And how would you describe Jayden Daniels and his performance for the Commanders? So, normally we have the Maller report card, but there's no reason to even bother with the Maller report card because it was picture perfect. It was impeccable. And very rarely do you see an unblemished performance, but that was what I watched. It was great. It was like he was back at LSU playing Vanderbilt or something like that. My God. Good for him. It was a Frosted Flakes type performance. And you watch the box score, you look at the game, and you're like, oh, man, look at those numbers. It's like Tony the Tiger. They're great. They were. And that is a snapshot on what the future could hold. Now, this does not just budge the needle, the performance of Jayden Daniels. It moves mountains, right? That's must-see TV. If he can recreate that, of course, the key is you have to do that consistently, right? Most of the time. That's the difference between being just good occasionally and then being Bafo Sacco and a franchise quarterback. And But man alive, that was great. And I would advise the owner of the Washington football team to get rid of the dumb Commanders placeholder nickname. Get a real nickname. If you do have a real quarterback, you want to get a real nickname. And you look at the Washington Commanders here. Dumb name. But they're 2-1, and they've got Arizona, beatable opponent. It's in Arizona, but Cardinals can lose every game. They win most games, but they can lose them too. So that's a toss-up. Then you play their creepy quarterback, Deshaun Watson, after that. So those are Cleveland. Come on, back to that should win those games. So now you're sitting 4-1, and at 4-1, you start daydreaming. The other thing, you look at the collateral damage from Jayden Daniels putting up a Mona Lisa performance like this on Monday Night Football with everyone watching. In Chicago, you've got Caleb Williams, who is not putting up Mona Lisa performances here. And so you're going to have the finger biting and all that, people pointing, hey, what's going on? Oh, I don't understand. How come he's not playing like this other guy? And we had the number 1 pick, and we passed over Jayden Daniels for this guy. What's up with that?